The recent headlines out of Hollywood concerning the deaths of Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle are shining a spotlight on drug addiction.
Yeah, the couple's son, Nick Reiner, charged now with first-degree murder in their deaths. And Nick had a long history of substance abuse. This morning we were talking to Anne Marie Foster, the president and CEO of Phoenix House, which helps people overcome addiction. So Anne Marie, thank you for being here this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Tough conversation to have given what played out in LA. And Nick Reiner, when you hear he was in and out of rehab 18 times, and it raises the question then, I guess, about the effectiveness of this. And you heard in many of these interviews his father talking about battling these inner demons and if in fact they can be cured. What's your take?
Well, it's a tragedy what took place, and it definitely, resonates throughout the community and the work that we do. What we know is that all treatment is not good treatment, and that it's so important that individuals receive long-term residential treatment for their addictions, and that families are engaged and part of the conversation as it relates to their loved one who is misusing substances. Another key component, and we don't know the details of this gentleman's addiction history, is that medication for assisted treatment works, and that so many people do not have access to it, or there are all kinds of misconceptions related to it, but it is effective. You and I, unfortunately, if we get diagnosed with diabetes or a heart condition and the doctor prescribes us medications for it, we will take it.
Yeah.
We won't second guess it. But when it comes on to addiction, there are people who still do not believe that medications are effective for it.
I mean, I feel like we're in the middle of this opioid addiction crisis here in the country. I mean, we hear a lot about fentanyl, overdoses, et cetera. Can you talk about the difference in the treatment, like compared to maybe dealing with something like cocaine addiction or heroin addiction? Is it different?
So no, the effective treatments for substance use, both opioid, alcohol, cocaine, is agnostic. Again, there are medications, but medications are one component of the equation helping someone with addiction. We must help the individual once they go through a withdrawal process to do the hard work of rehabilitation. And that's where counseling and cognitive behavioral therapy and long-term treatment comes into play to help the individual.
How does it work, though? Because when you're dealing with somebody like Nick Reiner, he was 15 years old when he first entered a rehab treatment. Can you walk us through and give us an overview of what treatment looks like for a 15-year-old rather than somebody who may be older?
Well, I think the first thing I would say, and again, not knowing his particulars, is that we don't have enough resources for our young people that need treatment. And we're not identifying it early enough for them to get access to treatment. And that treatment can look different for individuals. There's some people who would require hospitalization.
Yeah.
There are others who need long-term residential treatment. Now, when we have issues with, our insurance companies kind of dictating the number of days individuals can stay in treatment, that brings a whole other set of questions into it.
And who can afford it?
And who can afford it, absolutely. And so that's why government it's so important for resources to be put into institutions that can help young people, can help individuals who are struggling, and there's no barrier as it relates to insurance because we know that it works and people recover. There are over 20 million people living in this country who are in a life of recovery, and so it's important that we invest in residential treatment and long-term treatment.
I mean, with someone like Rob Reiner and his wife, they were very vocal about how they were trying desperately to help their son Nick before all of this happened. What does Phoenix House do to help families? I mean, because they're affected too by these addictions.
Absolutely, and that's a key component of the work that we do. Families must be engaged in their loved one's treatment. At least we try to. And so once we get the individual into our treatment and they give us the permission, we are reaching out to their families and to their loved ones. I mean, part of our mission is to restore families and to be able to return them to society, to be able to live rewarding and productive lives. And so things like family nights at Phoenix House is something that we do. During the holidays, we invite families in. During, any holiday that there's an opportunity to kind of celebrate and have the individual understand that they can live a life of recovery without substances and enjoy being around their families. And some of the heartfelt, feedback that we get is that people are able to see their loved ones back again as to what they knew before they were living with substances.
Anne Marie, thank you for the work you do. Thank you for coming in to talk more about it. Appreciate your time this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And if you or anyone you know needs help with substance abuse, you can dial 988 to be connected to free and low-cost services that can help you.